bringing up again. By the way, I do talk about this stuff and a lot more in my free upcoming masterclass. It's this Sunday, 9 Steps to Conscious Relationship. I get really specific. I'll have a PowerPoint for you, specific steps to building conscious relationship. That is in the link in my bio, so I do talk about this and a lot more. So, healing before you get into a relationship, or is that a thing? I think that's something we were really taught from a very individualistic and probably in the area of toxic individualistic culture, is that we have to heal first and then we can get into a relationship. But that's not how we're wired. And by the way, feel free to ask questions, drop your insights. Like, this is for you. Ask me any questions while I'm talking here. Okay. So that's not how we are biochemically wired. Like, that is just not a thing. We are created for connection. We are wired to connect. We are wired to be in tribe. Now, the healing that you do in relationship, that can be in any relationship. It doesn't have to be a partner relationship. It can be relationship with a therapist, relationship with a coach, relationship with friends. I personally am healing a lot of sisterhood wounds right now, so where am I doing that? I can't do that on my own. You know, and that's not to say you're not capable. It has nothing actually to do with that. It has to do with your wiring. I am healing those wounds in a sisterhood container that I am currently in. And even in just 6 months, I have healed just huge layers of that sisterhood wound, you know, that witch wound. But it was because I was in relationship. You know, wounds happen in relationship. Any wound that you have, any trigger that you have, you know, if I'm sitting in a one-to-one session with you, I guarantee we trace it back and back and back. Even if it feels like it's not related, it's always related to fear of being kicked out of tribe. Because that's how we're wired. You know, safety, being in tribe, that's a number one. So most wounds come from that place. And so they aren't meant to be healed on your own. Now, here's where it gets interesting, and here's where it's layered, is that you also have a relationship with self. So I made a post yesterday, and it was about healing wounds of self-abandonment and giving yourself boundaries, giving yourself a meditation, you know, going within, getting comfortable with your own discomfort. Is there healing there available to you 100% in relationship with yourself? It just can't only be that. Okay, yes, there is relationship with self. But you know what enhances relationship with self? It is relationship with community, with tribe, with another person. Now, I'm telling you, wounds are healed best in relationship because that's where the wound is. We have to go where the wound is. There was a comment on the post a while, I can't remember when, but, you know, I feel too broken to be in a relationship right now. So let's really get curious about that. Let's challenge that. Too broken. What is that? What does that mean? From that broken place, you get to enter a relationship just as you are. And you get to you get to co-create with another person or with a tribe the relationship that you want. That doesn't, you get to co-create a relationship where you don't have to show up perfectly. You don't have to show up in a certain way. You just show up as you are. Show up in your mess. That's where the best healing for me has come, when I just show up and I feel like just a fucking mess and so broken. That's where the best healing happens. Because I am in active co-creation that this is the kind of relationship I want. So that is how I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up with poo smeared across my face. And I'm going to practice accepting myself in that way and inviting the other person or the other people to accept me for that as well. Isn't that the kind of relationship that you want to co-create? Then show up that way. If you keep up the dynamic, the internal dynamic, well, I can only get in relationship when, then you are co-creating within yourself the pattern of perfectionism, and I'm not enough as I am. That there's something lacking in me, so only when I'm a little better can I have a relationship. You are worthy of having a relationship right now. I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't care what traumas you're dealing with. That's irrelevant. You get to have the best relationships of your life while you're dealing with shit, while you're right in the middle of a trauma response, while you're healing all of your broken mess. You get to have the best relationships of your life at the exact same time. They are not mutually exclusive. And that's what the linear patriarchal thinking. This is not about men. This is about a patriarchal value system, that it tells you things are linear and there's only one right way. You get to have the best relationships of your life while you are a messy pile of poop. That's what you get to have. But to start that process, it happens within. And there's also no wrong right way. Take this in, what's fruitful for you, and inquire within yourself. You are your own best connection with divine source, God, goddess. And take what's fruitful here. If you are in the middle of something and you do need more alone time, then take it. I just want to challenge you on that thinking, that we have to be all healed first before we can have good relationship. No, no, no. It doesn't happen that way. That only propels perfectionism, and I'm not good enough, and I am lacking. I have to be all put together, and that's perfectionism. So I have to be better before I get in relationship. No, practice. What can you do to embody the fact that you are worthy of great relationship now? And let me tell you, some relationships, you can't possibly heal your wounds in some relationships, because partner relationships in particular they activate wounds that no other relationship will. So there's a limit. There actually is a limit there of what the healing that we can do outside of, if you're looking at a partnership relationship, because those tend to trigger the caregiver wound. And so those are going to activate in relationship. Like the healing is in the co-creation of relationship. Healing is always unfolding. I tell you all the time how long I've been with Garrett, coming on 12 years. We are still healing wounds together. But we know that's what it is. We don't have this linear concept of what relationship is. Okay, we're all healed now, and now we go on. That's at least maybe in the old Disney days. That's the Disney version. They heal one trauma and then they're off. They're good for life. That's not how that works. But that was a pattern that and again, in our individualistic society, that's part of what's been ingrained, that we get to unpeel and challenge. Healing is always going to be a part of conscious relationship, always. It doesn't stop. You just get to fall in love with that process. You get to know that that's a part of it, and it always will be. And how great is that? Because the more you heal, the more you feel better. So I see a lot of comments popping on, so I'm going to take a peek at these Q&A questions really, really quick. Let's see. Oops. Okay, the comment is so true, but men don't see it like that. No, don't do that, because this is not a man-woman thing. We also get to disengage from that idea. There are so many conscious men out there. This is not gender specific. That is a limitation in your own mind. It is always going to have men sort of demonized in your own mind. So we get to peel that back. Okay, and maybe that's been a lot of men in your experience, and that is okay, but that's just been in your experience. Okay, the more work you do within, the more you will see that everybody is showing up for this work. Do you know how many conscious men there are? There are a lot. Okay, so agree with you, but it makes prioritizing self harder. Let's see, so I'm of the belief that you need alone time before you engage in a relationship. Yeah, so thank you for saying that. Again, all your thoughts, all your questions are welcome. You can agree, not agree, but I want to share with you just how the body works and offer you this perspective. So again, the comment is, it makes prioritizing self harder, so I'm of the belief that you need alone time before you engage in relationships. I would say that's also a limiting belief. Okay, it's both. The best relationships support alone time as well. So, you know, I'm married. I live with my person, but I prioritize my alone time. It is both. The wise person, that's again back to that old system that we've been raised in. We've unconsciously agreed to all these beliefs that it has to be one or the other. I did a workshop long ago that was how to not lose yourself in a relationship. And it's remarkably easy once you start practicing. Healthy relationship creates all kinds of room. It's alone time is part of it. A red flag in relationship is a relationship that doesn't support you going within and having your intimate time with yourself. A conscious relationship will always support that. Hey babe, I need alone time. Like, hey girls, I need alone time today. Cool, we'll catch you next time. We love you. Let us know how it goes. Okay, so we get to release the thinking that it has to be either or. You can simultaneously build conscious relationship and build relationship with yourself. They do not need to be mutually exclusive. Okay, let's see. Okay, some more comments. I agree. What happens when you wait so long, you enter into a new relationship thinking you are healed and all your past stuff shows up. Great. Awesome. Then you do exactly what we've been talking about. You work on healing those wounds within yourself and within your relationship. There is no healed. We're always going to be in process, right? That is also a perfectionistic way of thinking that we've all been ingrained with. You know, that's where compassion comes in. We grew up in the system that we grew up in. And the system we grew up in is very this or that. It's very black or white. It's perfectionistic. It's either I'm healed or I'm not. Truth is, look at nature. It's cyclical. It's all. Okay, so enter a new relationship and all your past stuff shows up. Celebrate that. Celebrate when all your past stuff shows up, because what that means, you know, we tend to attach a negative meaning to that, and that's just story. That's just your mind making up a narrative, making up a story that you can either agree to or not agree to. So choose to celebrate the fact that all your stuff is coming up, because only when your stuff comes up can it be healed. It's great when we get triggered in a relationship. It is also hard. And we make space for that, for those emotions. But your stuff only comes up when your psyche knows that you're ready enough to heal it. So celebrate, like, oh God, here's all my shit. Okay, then the relationship triggered it perfectly, so now you get to work on it. Exactly, yes. So we were built for connection with others. We think it's safe to be alone, but we are often running from our feelings. Yes. Yeah, exactly. And for any of you that have thought that, you know, the comment back about men that I mentioned earlier, yeah, it's not a gendered thing. It can be an avoidant thing. You know, there's avoidant attachment. So avoidant attachment people who lean that way, they might more be of the thinking that, well, I need to do this on my own. Okay, but let's separate the fact that that is only men. It can be a lot of men. But I actually lean more avoidant. You know, so it's all, but that's more of an avoidance strategy. Therapists tell people to heal first and then get into a relationship. That you get to take what's fruitful and leave the rest for you. I don't agree. I think that's a really limited, linear view. Yes, you grow better together. Exactly. We were designed for relationship. Yeah, send this video to him. Whoever this is. Watching all the way from South Africa. If you're still here, welcome. I'm so glad you are. Your lives really helped me with my healing journey. I'm so glad. I'm so grateful. Thanks so much for being here. All of you, seriously. Okay. Scrolling. Okay, I think I got them all. It's a lot. So just breathe with me. If you're still on here with me, just take a breath with me. Breathe this in. It's a lot of info. We're relearning. Be kind to yourself. We were taught one way. And the way we were taught is often that there is only one right way. You know, heal first, then get into a relationship. I vastly disagree. I've been doing this work for 10 years. It's just not how the body works. It's not how we're designed. We heal in togetherness. That is how we heal. The most healing is available within community. If you've been really stuck on that, I have to heal first, like, just explore. Explore for yourself. You know, use this video and this teaching to explore, where does that come from? Are there parts of me that feel like I have to be perfect or good enough? Is it coming from that wound? The best magic happens in relationships when you just show up. The best things have happened in my marriage, in sisterhood, when I show up messy, or when I'm in conflict with one of them, or my wound is wide open and I don't have words, I don't even know what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. Healing and relationship and the magic there is beyond language. It's beyond words. You might find yourself like I say it sometimes, you know, like, am I saying that right, or is that making sense? If you really are connecting with somebody, it always makes sense, and it's not because of your words. It's because of the energy being exchanged. I also believe in healing together with your partner. Absolutely. Yeah, that's the best way. Any other quick questions or insights anybody feels like dropping? I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being here on our Mondays together. Let's see. Question here. Okay. The question here is, what could I do when my partner and I fight all the time because I've evolved so much through my healing journey the last year, and now we talk totally different languages? Yeah. So just remember, there's no one size fits all here. There's no one right way to walk through this either. My husband and I have actually been through this. I tell the story, I've told it a fair amount of times years ago. You know, this was like year 3 for us, when I was evolving pretty rapidly, going to therapy, and he wasn't yet, and we were diverted quite a bit. We were really like a fork in the road. You know, like he was really on one side, I was on the other. And so first and foremost, there's no one right way. You can keep having conversations. And just know that that happens. That it's not, I think it's also, I've gotten caught up in this too. I've gotten caught up in the fairy tale. You know, I tell myself, well, he should be evolving with me. And of course I've questioned the marriage. Like, of course. I think anybody talking real will say that. That's just real talk. Like, he's not evolving with me. Like, it's, oh my God, it's all wrong. I should have this man who's like, you know, just, yeah, is wearing the robes. And he's like, doing all the sage and doing all of the incense and all the things, and that was really just coming from a part of me that I wasn't accepting. But just know that as you evolve and grow, like sometimes somebody jumps ahead and then another person not quite, and they catch up, and then you go together, then maybe another person will jump ahead, and you know, like that's, just keep in mind that that's how it works. And if you want to grow together, just keep having conversations. Talk from the you. You know, one of the best conversations we ever had, actually, the way I talked to him years ago was that, hey, honey, because at first I was trying to fix him, and that's a whole other topic, you know, when you try to change them, fix them, but really it's because I was in non-acceptance of something within me. So I was trying to get him to go to therapy, and he wasn't ready. It wasn't his time, and that wasn't wrong. You know, I was more, I don't like using this language really, but I was more in the wrong because I was trying to force him into something. But when I said, hey, honey, are you open to a conversation? He said, yes. Okay. I just feel really scared. I feel really sad. I feel scared because we're not in the same place we were. I'm in a different place and we don't speak the same language right now. I'm scared and I'm lonely and I'm afraid of how this is going to go. I'm aware that I want you to grow with me, but I'm also aware that I don't want to force you to. So talk from the I with no expectation of how it's going to go. Okay, as one of my coaches, Preston, would say, high intention, low attachment. Go in with high intention, release attachment to the outcome. Okay, we get way more tripped up when we attach to a certain outcome, like it has to end this way. Release your attachment from that. But go in with high intention. So my intention was to communicate really clearly about where I was and how I was hurting, with no expectation that it has to be fixed that day. The magic is in the communicating. The magic is in just the connecting. And then guess what? Like a month later, he went on his own to therapy, and like we've been off to the races since then. And he loves personal work, and I love personal work. You know, so take what's fruitful from that, but just know that's going to happen. When there's evolving happening, you go at different paces. Okay, and also it's a window of exploration within you. So a big part of what I learned is that if there was ever a part in me that wanted him to hurry up, and that's even come up recently, you know, I'm always evolving, and I evolve really rapidly, you know, when I do. And you know, when my mind tells myself a story that he's behind, first of all, he's always right where he's supposed to be, as am I. When my mind makes the judgment that he should be where I am, I get to look at a block within me. That is empowerment work. That's real work. That's shadow work. Like, ooh, so part of me is in a rush. Okay, what part of myself am I not accepting? I told you all in a series of videos and posts, like a few weeks ago, that I did that with him, and I realized how much I was still trying to make myself perfect. My non-acceptance of where he was really just a mirror to what I was not accepting of myself. So, you're where you need to be. Your partner is where they need to be. And, this is both and at the same time, if it's uncomfortable, if you are talking two different languages, that's a real thing. I get that. Think about having a conversation. Yeah. Oops. Go back up. More comments here. Yeah. What about the incredible amount of fear, which I know is tied to perfectionism, fear in putting yourself out there, rejection, failure. Yes. So in having a conversation, putting yourself out there like that, you do get to walk through the fear. And just practice doing it anyway. You know, you can journal beforehand, you know, putting yourself out there, you know, fear of failure or rejection. It always goes back to an attachment wound, remember. Why are we feel fear of failure? Like, that's not actually our core fear. I promise, it's not. It's always related to tribe and attachment. When I got down to my perfectionism fear and fear of failure, it wasn't actually about that. You know, failing, what does that even mean? Like, that's just a word we made up. I don't think there even is failure. But it's because my mind has made up since I was a child that if I'm not perfect, then people won't like me. So that's the core wound. Fear of rejection. Fear of being exiled. So when you have that fear, name it for yourself. You can journal it. Okay, my fear is this. Where do you feel it in your body? And then connect with your source of spirituality, your source. Because you get to know that you're always supported. Say the worst happens and that person rejects you. Okay, what does that actually mean? That can hurt. But what does it actually mean? You are still going to be safe. The brain tells you you're not safe if you're rejected. Okay, that's the tape. But you are going to be safe. You're still going to have a home. You're still going to be able to eat. You are still connected with whatever your source connection is, universe, God, Goddess, your guides, your angels. Make your connection with whatever that is for you, the earth, whatever that is. You know, to settle into that, and then you just get to practice moving through fear, because that's always going to be a part of it. We can't beat fear in this process. Fear comes with us. We get to confront fear to actually have it lessen. So fear's coming with you. Like, there's nothing, if you really do the work, it's coming with you. You just get to learn in your body that you can tolerate fear, that fear won't kill you. The story that your mind is telling you is that yes, it will, but no, of course it won't. Nothing in your body can kill you. Oh, there was something else I wanted to move through there. Let me see. No, I lost it, but I think that was it. Does that make sense? How does this feel? Let's see. You're so welcome. Hi, Sarah, if you're still here. Oops. Okay, but how can I overcome such fears when it comes to dating? I feel like when I start liking somebody, I begin to get very anxious and have a strong urge to ghost them. Yes, that's an old pattern. So basically, you can do what I just talked about. Let me see. Overcome such fears. Yeah, just overcoming fears. Do a lot of self-soothing. Because again, you want your body to learn that you were born to tolerate the emotion of fear. That it's not going to kill you. Because the fear is just telling you a story. And if you have a lot of fear of abandonment coming up, that means that there is a caregiver wound there, and it's not actually about the person, I promise. Because if they walk away, well, then what changes? You know, so it's not actually about them. So there can be some shadow work involved there. Like, what's the original wound? So go back and look at that. What is this really about? Because your child brain, when you're a child, you can't survive without your caregiver. So the fear was more real. If I fuck this up, are they just going to drop me off somewhere? Are they going to stop feeding me? Like, those were, you know, certainly depending on your environment, that was actually a fear. But it's not now that you're an adult, but your brain is stuck on that. So self-soothe, breathe. Don't try to push the fear away. Notice the fear, it's there. It's just, it's coming from a story. It's trying to protect you. And then, literally, we just have to grip and do it anyway. Have the conversation anyway. Move forward anyway. Fear is always going to be your companion here. Moving forward, even when you're feeling fear, that's what helps it to lessen over time. Okay, and then just more self-soothing. Self-soothing, so breathe. Yoga, put your hand over your chest and over your womb space, press in a little bit, because that tells your brain that you're safe. breathe some essential oils, go take a walk, put your feet on the ground. That's how we self-soothe. We do it through the physical senses. You know, soothe yourself like a baby. The fears are old. You know, if we are afraid of being abandoned, remember it's not about that actual person looking right in front of you. It's about something in your past. So that is a place to look. What is this trigger? Where is this felt familiar? And remember that if they reject you, will it be hurtful? Yes. Will it be sad? Yes. Will you feel angry? Sure. All of those things. But we get to teach your brain that you're still safe. The fear is telling you you won't be safe, but you will. You'll experience heartbreak or a loss, but you will move through that. Okay, so both and. I can feel uncomfortable emotions, I can feel grief and heartache, and I know that I'm safe at the same time. All of this goes back around to your nervous system. Teaching your body that you are safe no matter what happens in relationships. No matter what confrontation, no matter how you move through, that you are safe. I might have something different to say about extreme domestic violence situations, but that would be, I've talked about that difference before. Of course, yeah, caregiver wound there for sure. Yeah, so that would be the place to go. Instead, because the mind wants to get wrapped up in this current situation, but it's just a distraction. You know, so take yourself to the caregiver wound. I would really recommend working with a coach or a therapist while you do that. So let's take another breath together. Thank you so much for being with me here. Remember, this is very multi-layered, and this is a very brief live chat. There are so many layers here. There's so many nuances here. But take what you've gotten today. It will be posted on a replay later today. And if you can come to my free masterclass on Sunday, that would be amazing, because we'll have more time. I'll go over more of this stuff, 9 steps to conscious relationship. I get really specific. We'll talk about that for about an hour, and then I'll do a full half-hour of Q&A right after that. Okay, this is multi-layered, but just know that you were never meant to do this alone. You're right where you need to be. Your partner is right where they need to be. Okay, this is a big journey of acceptance. And you're always just getting mirrors, okay? So always just be in self-reflection. Absolutely, you're so welcome. Thank you for talking about being safe as an adult. Yes, that's such an important reminder. We have to learn that if we're going to move forward. You know, so much of what we experience, the fear of abandonment, the fear of rejection, it has nothing to do with what's happening in your outer world. Nothing. You're an adult. You're on an Instagram Live. You are safe. And if you're here right now, you know how to keep yourself safe. It's based on an old wound, an old program. So that's where we have to go and heal. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being here. Join me Sunday if you can. The link is in my bio, 9 steps to conscious relationship. Otherwise, join me next Monday. I'm going to go self-soothe myself and take care of me. Thank you. Well received. I hope you're having an amazing day too. I love you all. Until next Monday.